What's up, everybody? This is Jack from Crypto 49er, bringing you on my journey into cryptocurrency. So yesterday, I was with family having a family dinner for Chinese New Year. We usually do it a little earlier, but this year it was a little bit later. Anyway, as with most family gatherings, we talk about different things, and obviously we got into conversation about Bitcoin. And I gave a pretty thorough, I believe anyway, a pretty thorough explanation to my uncles regarding how Bitcoin work. So then I thought about it. I'm like, I figure everybody that's into the cryptocurrency world have that situation where you have to explain it to somebody, either a friend or a family member, how Bitcoin works. So I figured, why don't I try to give you the explanation that I did to my uncles in a more condensed format and see if that helps you for the next time you're in this kind of situation. So, obviously, you could probably pull up a bitcoin.org website and show them a video, but I really didn't have to do that because I thought about this question many times in my mind, and I'm thinking, how do I explain it? So, there's really two key technology within. The first one is, I was gonna always pull up Edward Snowden at first. Originally, that's before I thought about this discussion, I was like, let me bring up Edward Snowden. But Edward Snowden and PGP is what he uses to send emails between him and reporters. But between Edward Snowden and PGP, some of this might actually get lost because not everyone at this point even know about Edward Snowden, even though he basically was the biggest whistleblower in the United States history. But PGP is a whole other technology that I would say less than 1% of the population uses. So it's unfortunate, but then there's something I'm thinking of that actually everyone uses on a daily basis, and what it is HTTPS. So basically, it's really just a secure communication. So that is really the first part of what Bitcoin uses. It has a secure communication between two parties. So that is the one thing that it uses. And HTTPS is basically used for every time someone uses it for online banking. And if one of my friends, my uncle say they don't use online banking, I'm saying every single time you check your email, you are using HTTPS. And if you're using HTTPS, that is one technology that Bitcoin is using in a similar sense, not exactly the same way. It is cryptographic encryption, and that's basically what Bitcoin uses. So that's one technology that I use. The other technology that Bitcoin uses is file sharing. And I think because file sharing has been around for so long, that a lot of people, even the older generation, know about it. So something as simple as Napster, which actually according to Wikipedia is over 15 years old now at this point. So it came out in 2002. So this is where everybody's able to share a bunch of music and eventually share movies, not with Napster per se, but just the fact that people were sharing files back and forth for free. So this is the other technology that Bitcoin really relies on. Then I really explained the fact that instead of sharing thousands or millions of different files like people did with Napster because there was millions of songs that people were downloading, you're really just sharing one file for Bitcoin. And that one file is the distributed ledger, so that everybody have a copy of that distributed ledger and be able to verify that all the transactions that were communicated using HTTPS are confirmed to be on the ledger and confirm that the ledger is actually accurate. So that's basically the two technology that Bitcoin uses, and pretty much that's all I have to do to explain Bitcoin. This really two technology and how it's used, and that's it. So, but then there are questions that they have, and one of them is, how is value assigned for Bitcoin? That is relatively easy to answer actually. So the first thing I think about is, for me anyway, the first thing I thought of is something like Legos. So Lego, they release these limited edition Lego sets like this one I have here, the Lego Death Star, for $499, which is really pretty expensive, I have to say. So, but the thing is, if you hold on to a Lego set, because I have friends actually do this, they do collectibles, they actually buy these Lego sets and then they hold on to it for a few years. And some of these Lego sets after a few years, well, maybe more than a few years, but depending on the item. So, but some of these sets after a few years, they can go up to almost $5,000 in this case on eBay. So, as you can see, the price of something like a collectible, it can go up over time because of the fact that there was a limited amount created, and then there's only a limited amount available after a certain amount of time. And that's basically what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin only have 20 million in supply, and I always point out the fact that a lot of people have lost a lot of Bitcoin over the last 8+ years that Bitcoin's been out. Every single time someone doesn't back up the hard drive and the Bitcoin is gone, those Bitcoins are permanently gone. Every single time someone forget and erase a wallet file or something happened to the computer that gets corrupted, all the Bitcoin there is gone. So there's many things that can happen. There are hacks that happen every day that people get hacked like I did on Mt. Gox. Those Bitcoin are gone. So there's so many things that can happen to Bitcoin that actually causes people to lose the Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, once it's lost, it's not replaceable. And that's why there's the limited supply. And it really comes down to the fact that who actually determines how much something like this is worth, right? In this case, who actually determines that this Lego collector set is worth almost $4,000 or $5,000? Well, there is a seller that's putting up that price, but then there has to be a buyer that actually buys it. So whoever that buyer is willing to buy at that price, then there is actually that exchange of value. And that's basically how Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is only as valuable as the people that place value on it. Just like how people place value on this Lego Star Wars set. But the difference with this Lego Star Wars set is, even though, Lego won't do it, but technically they can. They have the ability and the right to release that exact same set and kill that market instantaneously. Whereas Bitcoin, there is no way that will ever happen. So that is one thing that Bitcoin have advantage of over something like a Lego set, because at the end of the day, Legos are actually centralized to the Lego company, right? So they own all the Legos in the world, and they can decide how they want to create different sets of Lego. And they decide how the market goes. Whereas Bitcoin is not owned by anybody, so there is no one that can say, oh, we want to create new Bitcoins now. It's not possible. So that's one big difference that Bitcoin have over some other collectibles in the world. And the other thing, obviously, with Bitcoin is it's a lot easier to transfer than a Lego set. That's the other thing that I would probably point out as well. So the other question that I get is, how does mining work? Bitcoin mining, I would just quickly point out to anybody that asks me, is that it's really a way to update that distributed ledger. Right now, remember, we have all these people that are able to download and have that one file that everyone's sharing, but everyone's only having read access to that file to confirm that file is actually valid. So who has the right to write to that file? It's the miners. So the miners have the right to write to that file by putting massive amount of computational power to compete against each other to find this specific random number. I think it's called announce. So it's like whoever finds this random number first is the one that's able to write to that distributed ledger, which is also called the blockchain. And that's basically it. So that's how the write process takes place to the distributed ledger. And again, the Napster portion of it is all the read access part of it, so that everyone have a publicly accessible distributed ledger. And that's the basic part of Bitcoin, and that's pretty much all the questions I got asked when I was explaining Bitcoin. So hopefully that helped you guys when you get into discussion about Bitcoin and how Bitcoin works, how mining works, and how is value assigned to Bitcoin. So that's my video for today, guys. Smash that like button for me if you can. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment for me if you have any more questions that you can think of regarding Bitcoin and questions that people might ask you about Bitcoin, and I can answer for you, and I'll try to answer to the best of my knowledge anyway. If it isn't crypto, it isn't worth mining, it isn't worth speculating. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.